Okay. So I'm super excited, as we can all see. I have Molly Taylor here with us, and Molly's just raced the most epic event, I think, that we've seen in motorsport history, and one I think is going to have a place in history as well, Molly. I mean, it really set a benchmark, I think, not just over the weekend, but in the course of months and years to come. Can you first, congratulations, of course.
Thank you.
What a stellar performance, Molly. I think, given all the unknown quantities and the factors, because it was new, but then you take into consideration your career, and you think, is everything going to merge together in such a positive way? Can you let viewers know how you experienced the course of the 2 days and to come out with such an amazing result?
Yeah, it was pretty incredible weekend, and as you say, it was so new, and none of us really knew exactly how it was all going to unfold. And this series has been years in the making, and it's been so exciting to watch the development and watch the innovation and be part of something that's really revolutionary in terms of motorsport and how sport in general can be used in a positive way, particularly when you're looking at climate change and equality and sustainability and all those things. So to be able to be involved in something like this from the ground level was really special. So we were all very excited, firstly, to be part of it. And then you throw in the competition element, and obviously we were all there because we want to win. But again, it was also new. So we didn't know what the cars would be like on the track. We didn't even know what the track would be like. And then coming from a rally background as well, driving in those dunes was also a very new and different experience. So we just tried to keep our heads down and try and take every challenge and face it the best we could. But you don't know exactly where everyone's going to end up. So to be able to come out on top after all that was just an amazing feeling. And I think we've still got a lot of work to do, but it was just great to have everything kick off. Just such a dream start, really.
Yeah. And I think there were some special qualities within for yourself and Johan and the team Rosberg X Racing, because you had never actually, I know this was a level playing field for everybody, but to bring a team together and stay in sync within all those unknown factors, how do you think all of that played out?
I think we're so lucky to have a great team, and from all our mechanics and engineers and everyone behind the scenes putting it together, and to have people like Johan, who is 3-time World Rallycross champion. We saw in his driving in the starts just why he is 3-time world champion. It's just incredible, and obviously to have Nico there as well as a Formula One world champion. We just have this incredible resources of experience, and being able to draw from all different types of experience and see how it's relevant in the new scenarios that we're put in. We just really have such great combination of skill sets and attitude, I think, in our team. And that was what's so great, because we're all there for exactly the same reasons. And we all, despite not really knowing each other that well, and it's only really, apart from our 2-day test in Spain before the season started, this was our second time being together. So for something to be so new and all those dynamics for it to work really well, I think that was great, because we just sort of got off to a great start, and everyone is really on the same page all the time. So it's just it's a really great atmosphere to be in, and I think then that translates also to the results.
Yeah, for sure. And right from the get go, that qualifying, that first session that you went out, it did it feel like this is a similar transition from rally to, tackling these sand and that drop off. 130, 45 degrees, like.
Yeah, that one. I mean, that really takes your breath away. The first time you see it, it's like when I'm not very good with heights, so it's like you're standing on a building and looking down. It's that same kind of instant cold sweat that you get when you see it, because it was so epic. But I mean, once you do it once, you realize that the cars are more than capable of handling that, and it was actually fine. But I think that first run particularly, for me, we got one shakedown run, but I had a power steering issue then. So that was the qualifying run was the first time I really hit the full track at speed. So that was very nerve-wracking from my perspective, because you're sort of doing everything for the first time when it really counts. But it was weird, because I think there's so much build up and anticipation. We've been planning this moment for years, and there's a series, and I guess for us, for months. So then for it to all, finally, that build up was quite intense. And then I think when you actually jumped in the car, given it's an electric car, it's so quiet. And you're in this beautiful surroundings, and although you're going fast, the landscape is so vast and kind of serene. So it was this weird feeling of having so much, I guess, anticipation and build up and nerves, and then you hop in the car, and it was the most peaceful place to be.
Wow.
It was really nice. It was the first time I think I've experienced that sort of serenity while I was driving, and I just hopped in and I didn't want to get out. It was great.
Well, like that is really a different dynamic from what you are used to, and what you've basically developed in your career. But did you feel at times, Molly, that those skills from rallying did cross over? The Odyssey 21, it's a massive vehicle. As you say, quiet, no gears. Yeah. What did you feel comfortable in transitioning over? Or, I mean, were there parts within that race mode that was completely out of what you have been used to, out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, it was definitely out of my comfort zone, that's for sure. The car itself, as you say, it's electric, it's a lot bigger, the surface and the track is completely different. So there were a lot of things that were very new to me. I think coming from a rally background, being able to feel the grip, feel the car, and have that sort of level of car control, sort of the basics that you need for rally. So, even though everything's so different and the surface is different and the car's different, at the end of the day, it's still about having that feeling and that car control, and then just being able to adapt to what's different about it. So I think those skills from rallying certainly help, and then as we learn the car more and we can dial it in more, and, those sort of, specific skills, I suppose, we will develop. But, at the end of the day, you need to be able to feel whatever car you're in. It doesn't matter, on a rally, if it's raining, it's dry, if it changes, you need to be able to adapt to what it is on the ground at the time. So that helps.
Was there a feeling, Molly, at any time that you could get lose shape, out of control? I mean, we did see, what did you say?
It was wild. The track, it was changing every time we got out there, because the ruts were getting deeper. The lines people were taking were changing. You could choose over some of the crests what line you took. So the car was moving around a lot. There was quite a few jumps and really rough sections. So it was definitely wild, and you were definitely hanging onto the car many times. So it wasn't a smooth, easy drive, that's for sure. It was it was awesome. It was fun, but it was definitely a handful as well.
Yeah. And if there was a message to be taken from what we were all watching on the screen, was that all electric vehicle racing is exciting. I mean, we still had that same feeling of anticipation. The unexpected was always there. You're always against the clock. So for the fans watching at home, we still have that petrol head mentality, if you like, that, racing at the end of the day is still racing. And yet there was a nice twist in it to say, well, we're doing this, but there are actually no, carbon emissions coming out at the same time. That has to be pretty exceptional. How did you actually feel about that whole principle, Molly, that you still want to be able to deliver a race performance, but within a different context?
Yeah, you're completely right. It's no less exciting. And, of course, we love the sound of engines, and, it was, as rev heads, that's, that sound is incredible, but it's not that this kind of racing is in any way less exciting because it doesn't have that. It has so many different elements, and it's the same as sort of getting used to driving an internal combustion engine car to an electric car. It's just different. And it's getting used to that element, I suppose. But I think it's such a special experience to be able to really be at the forefront of new technologies and what's going to be the future of our mobility more broadly as well. So it's it's change that we need, and I think to be a part of that is really exciting. And as Alejandro Agag, the founder, always said, it has to be extreme. So the track, the racing, the locations, all of it really was extreme, and it lived up to that promise, and it was really exciting to watch. So I don't think the fact that we didn't have the engine noise didn't detract at all from any of those things. So it's still it's still just as credible as an exciting spectacle for fans, and if not, we're bringing so many more elements as well to the table.
Yeah, for sure. And one of them being, one female, one male driver. Like, from watching it from the couch, you never felt, well, I never felt that there was a complete demarcation, I suppose, between the race. I mean, if you came in and you said, oh, well, who's behind the wheel? You couldn't actually say, oh, well, that's a guy or that's a girl. That's how it came across. Did you feel, Molly, that gender wasn't really even part of, well, you must go here because you're better here? Or, I mean, how do you analyze and sort of like put that into, sort of a team briefing?
Yeah, I guess the great thing is we're all there to try and do the same job, and I think it's an incredible opportunity for us to be given this way to develop and to race against the caliber of drivers that we have. And I mean, if you look at the male drivers in the series, we've got, I don't know, it's like 12 or more world titles between them. My rally idols growing up, and incredible amount and depth of experience. And you can't say that from the female driver's side, we don't have that level of experience that the male drivers do. And that's just the reality. It's not saying it's better, worse, indifferent. That's just how it is. So I think what this series has done is it's given us the platform and the opportunity to develop and have these incredible benchmarks, and work towards proving our place on the field. So I think that's what's so special about this, and this is this opportunity that we have, and we all need to deliver and prove we should be there, and with that support and learning experiences and mentors that we now have in this series, we're going to prove that's possible. So I think it's really exciting, and it's not like it's a flick a switch and all the issues are sorted, but this is such a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, and like when you look over the 9 teams, and one female driver goes out, and then you do the switch over, and then the male will take over. The grit and determination on everybody's face, whether it was Katie who was trying to grab those few seconds behind you in the final, or whether it was Johan and Timmy, with Johan's brilliant switchback move on him, going up to that turn, that type of sort of passion to beat, to win, is so visible. And I think that's like really unique, because we've never actually seen that in a high profile motorsport event, and to me that's like so interesting, because it brings out a different dimension that even perhaps the founder himself didn't really factor into. This is actually going to be a fan's experience as well. How did your fellow people back at home, Molly, your fellow rally drivers, what has been the feedback for you?
It's been pretty incredible, and I don't really think I knew a lot of people would be watching it, but it's really surprised me just how many people were following it and how many messages I've received. So it's so fantastic that so many people are interested and are on board with what we're doing, and that's really vindicating all the work and I suppose the risks the organisers took at the beginning to set up something like this, that you didn't know if it was going to work, and making all these really bold decisions in every way. And it's just so fantastic that people are tuning in to see how it went, and the fact that it was such a success. I mean, this obviously, for the first round of any series, there's a lot of things that we can tweak and develop and improve, but such a positive start all in all, and such positive feedback in general. I think it's really started off in a great place, and the momentum's only going to build and get more from here. So it's really exciting to be part of that, and then all the drivers, male, female, whatever, we're all there because we want to race and we want to win, and it's a great environment, because it's not who's the fastest female, who's the fastest male. It's just everyone out there trying to improve and trying to beat each other across the board.
Yeah. And Nico Rosberg himself, there's sort of this in his own character, Molly, it's that drive for purpose, which has basically been his post racing career, and sometimes when you have a point like that which is pushing you forward, the opportunities to actually put it into action don't come around that often, and to have the series bring together, I suppose, people with similar thoughts like Nico and Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button. How did you personally feel that all those elements of making racing sustainable, looking at what climate change and how it's affecting, and particularly you went out to the Red Sea and the turtles, and the male and the female, how did you feel everything sort of knitted together while you were there?
It was really good on the ground, and as you said, we got the opportunity before the race started to spend 2 days on the St. Helena, the ship that will be carting all the equipment and cars to every round, and we went and visited a beach on the Red Sea that the Red Sea turtles go to lay their eggs, and you can see firsthand the impacts of climate change and the threats to their survival. So to be able to kind of to really be on the ground and see a problem, and then see the actionable steps that the Extreme E are doing to change and improve that, as well as the racing. It's not just all for show. It's really there's work happening on the ground, and even with Rosberg X Racing as well, where at every place we go to, we'll also be doing our own individual campaign. So the day after the race, we actually visited a Turquoise Mountain funded center, which was basically training a whole lot of Saudi, mostly women, in different crafts, and we supplied them with some photography and video and computer equipment for them to be able to generate their own independent income and be able to start up their own e-commerce sites and platforms to sell their work. So to be able to be actually part of things, you meeting these girls, and I have some of the ceramic work that one of the ladies produced with me now, and it's so special to be able to do that whilst we're racing. I mean, ultimately, my passion is motorsport, but to pursue something just purely because it's just something you enjoy doing, that's one thing. But to be able to use that to do something that's bigger than just yourself and bigger than your own personal enjoyment of something. You know, I think it's far more beneficial to be part of a larger purpose, and I think that's what is really fundamentally the exciting thing. We're racing, we want to win, but in doing that, we're also going to be making a difference.
Yeah, it definitely is. It makes the principle, or the underlying principle, and also that huge risk that the founder, you know, I know, looking back at some of the conversations, it started off on a napkin in a cafe over coffee with a friend. You know, he says, "Oh, I've got this idea."
All the great ideas start.
And so just sort of like the last point would be the practicality of race to road philosophy, I suppose, because, you know, the series has got incorporated companies, automobile manufacturers, all electric technologies, which is amazing in itself. But there is a purpose for that as well, and that you know, it is looking at showcasing, I suppose, Molly, you know, all electric vehicles and SUVs in particular, which, you know, could be adapted for mainstream market. How do you feel that will progress or evolve?
Yeah, I think that's, as you say, the number of and popularity of SUVs globally as vehicle sales is huge. So to have this platform that in the future we can have more development, more buy-in from OEM manufacturers, that's really going to help. Like in any motorsport, you know, this is a platform from their side to develop technologies, to promote and market cars, to promote the acceptance and the I guess the appearance and desirability of electric cars to a wider audience as well. So I think it's got a really important purpose in the larger automotive landscape into the future, and we're just at the beginning of that, and you know, even using the technologies of hydrogen power to charge the cars when they're on a vent, and all these sorts of things we're developing, and you know, for sure there's always work to do to improve all of those things, but this is really the first step. And I think you know, once more manufacturers get on board in the future, we see more development from that side as well. It's really creating a platform that will be very appealing to the manufacturers as well. Yeah,
for sure. Okay, so looking ahead, we have Ocean X Prix, Senegal. Is it going to be a fresh new start, Molly, do you think? You know, like it's going to be different terrain, and of course just the racing challenge in itself. What's to look forward to?
Yeah, as you say, it's going to be a new surface, new conditions, new track, and really we don't know much at all about it until we get there. So from that perspective, it'll be similar to Saudi, you know, arriving and just seeing what it's like, and then just having to go for it on the first run. So that's going to make it really exciting to watch. We have our learnings from the first round, so we will be going in knowing more than we did last time, but in saying that, it's still, we're going to be then having to adapt to something new again. So I don't think the challenge is ever going to get any less. Just really, really exciting, because we got a taste of just how fun it is as well, and we're all eager to get back and do it again as soon as possible.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I think I think all of the women, you know, and the guys in the teams, I think the whole series, the concept is absolutely brilliant, and I just loved your tenacity that you know, never mind, I've never done this before, but you know, I'm going to draw on all those hours that I've clocked up. And I tell you what, I watched a couple of clips. There was a TV presenter who hopped in as co-driver for you prior to a rally, and she's holding on, you know, like she's in the coat, and like I wouldn't even get in the seat.
It's good fun.
It was just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, super grateful, Molly, for your time. What you're just a huge role model, and for sure, I'll follow you all the way through. December it goes, which is great, and I wish you and all the team all the best for the next round.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.